As you're preparing to step up on that podium, you are completely insecure. You're questioning every decision you ever made, and am I going to help all these people get to the point where I think we will achieve together what the composer intended? Here is 2, 3.
Principal conductor, music director, Kapellmeister, maestro. Whatever title you prefer, George Hanson has been standing at the Tucson Symphony podium guiding the orchestra for 20 years. He's had a lasting influence on a generation of musicians and audiences. Hanson has worked and studied across acclaimed music capitals of the world. He began as a fourth-generation trumpet player.
Well, my father played principal for the Milwaukee Symphony, and his father was the solo cornetist for the Sells, Floto, Barnum, and Bailey Circus. And his father played trumpet on the streets of Copenhagen before immigrating to the United States.
He was and is an accomplished pianist, but early on he considered a career outside music, specifically as a doctor. The catalyst for his ultimate choice? A recording of Mahler's First.
I was playing the piano about 6 or 8 hours a day, and I came home one night and I put on a record. I didn't really even look at what it was. And by the end of the first 22 minutes of classical music, I had decided that's what I wanted to do, to become a conductor.
As a young assistant conductor, he had powerhouse mentors, among them Kurt Masur and Leonard Bernstein.
The first experience you have as a conductor, usually you're sitting in the audience and you're someone's assistant. And you think, oh, if I were up there, I could do. And then you get up there, and it's as if you just stepped into a little sound booth where 50% of your hearing goes away. And you make a gesture that you are sure is going to be perfectly clear, and nobody plays with it. And then somebody asks you a question, and it might be a nice innocent question like, you know, would you prefer this up bow or down bow? And you become in this place where the wall of sound just overwhelms you. 1, 2. I don't know if you ever get back to hearing on the podium everything you would hear in the back of the hall. It takes you pretty much the rest of your conducting life to get to a point where that wall of sound doesn't disturb you. The ego question is a big one for conductors. It takes an enormous amount of ego in the first place to step in front of 80 or 100 musicians, all of whom have trained for 8 or 10 or 12 or 20 years, and tell them, okay, now this is the way you're going to do this. Lots of sound. As interpretive artists, we have to present such a compelling performance that we invite everybody in, and they want to stay because they can't turn away from it.
No matter if we're talking or if we're actually playing on stage together, it's very clear that George's #1 goal is to make music, and everything he does serves the music.
Here's something that's written in the trumpet part. So it's 1, 2. Again, though, it's not about finding a different way of doing it. This is not like the fashion industry where you're looking for some way to do something really unusual. You're looking for the composer's intent. The conductor is the one who has to say, okay, here's the tempo, but when we get on stage with the audience there, we are all pretty much having the same experience, whether it's a mountaintop experience or it's a slow-moving train wreck, as we sometimes talk about. We share it all together.
Some maestros like to call the orchestra an instrument. And the instrument that George got was on its way up. The orchestra that George leaves is a really finely tuned machine.
You cannot have a great American city without a great American orchestra. It takes an incredible amount of work from extraordinarily talented people on stage.
Good evening, thank you. Alicia had a baby boy, 7 pounds, 14 ounces.
It takes blood and sweat and tears from the people in the office who are making sure that the books are balanced, that the funds are getting raised. It takes all those people to make it possible. I've been essentially the benefactor of all that work because I'm the one who gets to stand there and wave my arms around in this beautiful sound. It's truly a group effort, and to that enormous group, I say thank you.